How a local bar is bringing people together for the Chiefs championship game. The latest on President Biden's COVID relief program. A probe into the Capitol riots is beginning to dig deeper.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The Kansas City Chiefs are AFC champions, and Chiefs Kingdom is celebrating as Kansas City heads to Super Bowl 55 in Tampa Bay against the Buccaneers. This is the Chiefs' second Super Bowl appearance in as many years. And this is the late edition of the KOAM News at 10. I'm Chris Warner. The Kansas City Chiefs heading back to the Super Bowl. The Chiefs roll over the Buffalo Bills 38-24 on Sunday night in the AFC Championship, punching their ticket to Super Bowl 55, their second straight Super Bowl appearance. Kansas City will face Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Super Bowl 55 on February the 7th. Tight end Travis Kelce led the way for Kansas City on Sunday night, racking up 13 catches for 118 yards and 2 touchdowns. Tyreek Hill caught 9 passes for 172 yards. Patrick Mahomes completed 29 of 38 passes for 325 yards and 3 touchdowns. And as we mentioned, it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers the Chiefs will be facing in Super Bowl 55. The Buccaneers played the Packers in the NFC Championship game earlier today. Tom Brady and those Buccaneers holding off Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers in a 31-26 victory at Lambeau Field. That puts Tom Brady in another Super Bowl and creates a unique situation with the Super Bowl game being a home game, in a sense, for Tampa Bay. This will be Tom Brady's 10th Super Bowl appearance.
You know, love coming to work every day with this group of guys, and they've worked really hard to get to this point. And it's a tough game. We've had a few tough games in a row, and the next one will be really tough too. But we know what we're playing for, and we got 2 weeks to prepare. It's going to be a great opponent, and be a really exciting couple weeks for us.
Back home now in Chiefs Kingdom, Shirley's Tavern in Carterville hosting a somewhat unique get-together for the championship game tonight. They decided on a potluck, which is not something common for most eating establishments, to bring your own food. But the owners of Shirley's say they've been doing it this way for a while now for games, and tonight seemed like a great night to party, and that party won't stop with just tonight.
We're going to have a Super Bowl party, whether the Chiefs make it or not. We hope the Chiefs make it. Obviously, we're big fans here, but we will definitely still have a potluck either which way.
His luck holding out as the Chiefs did make it. Now, Shirley's originally opened in 1983 and burned down just a few years ago. Powell and his wife purchased it and reopened it in 2019. Nick Kelly joins us. With all that fog, it was a perfect day to stay inside and watch both championship games.
Absolutely, and now, Chris, we're going from fog that we started this evening out with to switching that over to rain as we go through the overnight and into our Monday. But with the fog and the cloud cover, though, we can only make it to 48 in Joplin this afternoon after we started cold at 38 this morning. Now we're just seeing the rain chances really ramp up on the radar. We were dry for much of the day. It wasn't until about 8 or 9 o'clock. That's when we saw the better rain chances pick up. And you're talking about pockets of moderate to heavy rain in the mix as well. And even some rumbles of thunder trying to sneak out of Tulsa, while the cold side of the system working in, already prompting snow to develop across northern parts of Kansas. They're going to deal with quite a snowstorm as the week gets started. But around here, we're dealing with rain with this storm system continuing through the night. Overnight lows drop to 45. Early highs tomorrow around 53 before we start dropping things down, temperature-wise, that is. We'll break down a few more systems on the way for the week ahead coming up in just a bit, Chris.
All right, Nick, thank you. We first introduced you to a group a week ago as they were trying to get a chess club started in Pittsburgh. Well, today was their second meeting, and organizers say they're off to a great start. The group meets at Root Coffee House in Pittsburgh, playing rounds to brush up on their skills and raise their ranks on the competitive level.
So I'm in the fanatical camp that chess is a sport. One of the things I keep hearing from my players along Game 4, Game 5, is they will report out how exhausted they are, like they had played a football game. But our current run rate is we're growing at 685% a year. And we're going to bring it back from the dead.
Blair says he remembers a time when chess was on the front page, and they're hopeful to get chess back into the spotlight. COVID-19 has now infected more than 25 million Americans since the pandemic hit a year ago. Now, that's about 1 in every 4 cases worldwide, and by far more than any other country. President Biden's $1.9 trillion COVID relief plan includes hundreds of billions of dollars aimed at fixing critical shortfalls in vaccine production and distribution. But the measure is far from sure to pass in Congress. CBS News correspondent Nancy Chen reports from New York.
A more contagious COVID-19 variant, first found in the UK and detected in more than 20 states, is raising new concerns.
So we need to assume now that what has been circulating dominantly in the UK does have a certain degree of increase in what we call virulence, namely the power of the virus to cause more damage, including death.
Dr. Anthony Fauci says scientists are preparing to modify existing vaccines if more COVID mutations make it necessary.
The best way to prevent the further evolution of these mutants is to vaccinate as many people as possible with the vaccines that we have currently available to us.
President Biden's $1.9 trillion COVID relief plan includes hundreds of billions to speed up the sluggish vaccination effort and money for struggling Americans.
We need more action, and we need to move fast.
The proposal could face GOP challenges on Capitol Hill.
Well, I think at this early stage, just having passed over $900 billion in relief, that before we were to pass a new program, we need to understand where the money is going. Are these to individuals or to entities that really need the help?
Of course we need the funding to get that vaccine distribution out there. We got to stop messing around and get our economy going again. That's what Joe Biden's proposal is about.
President Biden is invoking the Wartime Defense Production Act to make more vaccines, and he is aiming for 100 million inoculations in his first 100 days in office. Nancy Chen, CBS News.
The CDC predicts the UK COVID-19 strain will be the dominant strain in the U.S. by March. And we take this time now to honor one of our many four-state heroes. Lieutenant Laura Baresh served in the Navy from 2002 to 2003 aboard the USS Kill. She also took part in Operation Enduring Freedom, her hometown, Albuquerque, New Mexico. We are proud to recognize Lieutenant Lori Baresh, tonight's four-state hero. And of course, to learn more about other heroes and nominate one of your own, just head over to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. That's a look at today's top stories, a Chiefs victory, and a quick look at the forecast on the KOAM News at 10 late edition. Still ahead, the probe into the deadly Capitol riot continues to get deeper. Details next. More than 2 weeks have passed since the attack on the U.S. Capitol. Dozens of those involved are facing charges, but federal authorities are still hunting for other suspects, and the probe into the deadly incident is getting deeper. John Lawrence reports.
The probe into the deadly insurrection at the U.S. Capitol is escalating.
The threat of right-wing extremism is here, right? And we saw it on January 6th. And it will continue to be a persistent and real threat to the District of Columbia.
About 120 suspects have been arrested, including Michael Foy of Michigan, who prosecutors allege is seen in this video striking police officers with a hockey stick during the riot.
Anybody involved in that should be prosecuted. I've been very, very clear about that from day one.
Joseph Biggs of Florida and a member of the Proud Boys extremist group is also facing federal charges. Additionally, officials state that images indicate Biggs carried a walkie-talkie device, possibly to communicate with others during the siege.
Definitely there was a element that came prepared and was looking to do nefarious things.
7 Democratic senators have filed an ethics complaint against Republican Senators Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley to see if their actions played any role in the attack or violated ethics rules.
If people did aid and abet, there will be more than just comments from their colleagues here. There'll be prosecution.
Cruz and Hawley have blasted the complaint as political. And now the director of the U.S. Army staff is admitting he may have expressed some concern about the optics of sending more troops to the Capitol when D.C. government and U.S. Capitol Police were asking for them. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Also on at least part of the phone call from officials seeking help during the attack was Army Lieutenant General Charles Flynn, brother of former President Donald Trump's former national security advisor. The Army had earlier denied Flynn was on the call. Well, Senator Mitt Romney was on Fox News Sunday this morning discussing a number of things, including President Biden's rescue plan. The senator saying he could support the rescue plan, noting that the country has to get beyond COVID in order for the economy to recover.
Well, I think that's very possible. Last time around, a bipartisan coalition came together to look at the needs of the American people and came up with the $900 billion plus plan. We'll listen to representatives of the White House today to understand their perspective. But if there are places that we missed in our proposal, we're happy to pick that up. The president wants to extend unemployment benefits. If people are still unemployed, that certainly is something we'd look at.
Senator Romney added that he believes if we get beyond COVID, that the economy will come back roaring, but he's not convinced that continuing to borrow money from the Chinese and others is the best way to do it. Senator Bernie Sanders from Vermont joined CNN's State of the Union to discuss COVID relief as well. He emphasized a need to get COVID relief passed as quickly as possible, citing that the American people are in desperate need of help to continue to survive.
I know that working families are living today in more economic desperation than since the Great Depression. And if Republicans are willing to work with us to address that crisis, welcome, let's do it. But what we cannot do is wait weeks and weeks and months to go forward. We have got to act now. That is what the American people want.
The senator is also quite aware of the meme situation on the internet following a photograph of him bundled up at the inauguration. The senator says they're having fun with the situation and taking a moment to make some good out of it for those in need.
I am. And not only are we having fun, what we're doing here in Vermont is we're going to be selling around the country sweatshirts and T-shirts, and all of the money that's going to be raised, which I expect will be a couple of $1 million, will be going to programs like Meals on Wheels that feed low-income senior citizens.
Well, meteorologist Nick Kelly joins us with his complete forecast and what to expect for the week ahead next.
We had a pretty interesting end to our weekend. We started out with rain this morning, mostly cloudy skies to start the rest of the day out. Then over indigo sky in other parts of the area, we actually had areas of fog and mist develop. In fact, it was very dense in some spots, that fog and mist, dropping visibilities down to about 1/4 to 3/4 of a mile. But now we're starting to see things change up as our next system finally begins to work out of the southern plains and out of the desert southwest. As far as temperatures go for today, we started out cold, mid to upper 30s for most, a few spots south of dropping right around 40. But you see the numbers around 1 o'clock? That was the best we could do for highs today. Our northern counties lower to middle 40s, along and south of I-44, upper 40s to near 50, and we just held there as the cloud cover held tough, and we had those pockets of a fog and mist develop as the afternoon went along. And we're not seeing the temperatures budge very much. Most of us still sitting in the upper 30s to about the mid 40s, and this is where we're going to stay throughout the course of the night, as now more moisture is pulling in from the southwest. That is resulting in our rain chances ramping up as we go throughout the rest of the night. A closer look at the radar network shows some of these pockets of rain are moderate to heavy at times, and even a couple of rumbles of thunder coming out of northeastern Oklahoma. Not expecting anything strong or anything severe, but even though we're going to stay cold for tonight, if not cool, don't be surprised if you hear some rumbles of thunder. That's just indicating some pockets of moderate to heavy rain on the way, while on the cold side of things, we're already starting to see bands of snow develop across northern parts of Kansas, and even some developing on the northeastern sides of Kansas City. If we switch the view up and broaden our scope out, you can see the color-coded counties to our north and east. Winter weather advisories, and in the white, winter storm warnings, because some parts of Nebraska, Kansas, Iowa, and northern Missouri, they're getting ready to see snow amounts range from 3 inches to about 1 foot, with the heaviest bands of snow coming in, with the storm system at the surface coming out of the Texas Panhandle and the upper low coming out of the southern Rockies and the desert southwest. Once this upper low swings by, we'll see another low out of Vancouver. That'll try to bring us some snow chances in here on Wednesday. So quite a few systems to watch, but we'll take them one at a time, starting with tonight's and tomorrow's storm system, already increasing our rain chances as we head into the overnight. And again, some of these could be moderate to heavy, the rain chances that is, along with some embedded rumbles of thunder, but temperatures hold steady, lower to middle 40s across much of the area. And even though we'll hold on to cloud cover, we should get a strong enough southerly wind at times to push afternoon highs early to about 53. Then we're going to see the temperature start to drop throughout the rest of the afternoon as we get on the backside of the storm system. So 45 to start, 53 by noon. and then dropping back down to about 50 degrees as we head into the rest of Monday afternoon. And as the storm system rolls on, we'll back things off to maybe a few showers by Monday evening, but we'll definitely quiet down by Monday night. No snow with this system for us, unfortunately, but as far as rain goes, we're fair game to pick up 1 to 2 inches of rain before we get a chance to dry out on Tuesday, which you can see here on the water view of the future track here with the jet stream setup. Then Wednesday system comes right on in. A chance for snow, mainly during the morning hours. Minor accumulations at this stage of the game. We'll keep an eye on that still. Then we're sticking quiet for Thursday and Friday before another system brings in another shot for rain Saturday and going into Sunday morning. So quite a few systems on the board, but we'll go 53 and dropping for tomorrow, Chris. 41 and dry for Tuesday before we hopefully, at least hopefully for me, see a little bit of snow coming in by Wednesday morning.
Certainly a busy weather week ahead of us coming in.
Yeah. Certainly looks busy, but me, Doug, Michael, will be on top of it all.
All right, Nick, thank you so much. Well, as Nick mentioned, we haven't seen any snow yet in our area, but some folks have, and it's causing some havoc. That's up next. Well, following Saturday's snowstorm, both of the Twin Cities declared snow emergencies on Sunday. That weekend storm system dropped several inches of fresh snow on the Twin Cities. Weather officials reported that the Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport received more than 5 inches of accumulation. Across Minnesota, the snow resulted in more than 200 crashes, with more than a dozen people injured. According to transportation officials, many roads were partially or snow-covered or even completely covered with snow. And where's snowfall in London and the commuter towns of St. Albans and Hemel Hempstead, north of the capital, on Sunday provided a few hours of fun for children and dogs who have spent the last few weeks under tight lockdown to limit the spread of the coronavirus. Snowmen, including that one there wearing a mask, they were spotted near Buckingham Palace at central London. Local parks in the Fulham neighborhood in West London echoed to the sound of shouts of joy as children rushed out to enjoy a white landscape with just about enough snow falling to allow a sled to be pulled. Meanwhile, dogs were filmed prancing in powdery snow in St. Albans and Hemel Hempstead Gardens. The snow was not expected to lay for a long time as temperatures remained just above the freezing point. And continuing on with some weather, a flood in St. Louis, but this one not because of rain. Several cars were stranded after a water main break flooded onto Interstate 70 in North St. Louis yesterday evening, blocking traffic for hours. Now, officials with the St. Louis Fire Department said the massive water main break on Bircher Boulevard flooded onto the interstate near Union Boulevard and made the eastbound lanes and the express lanes impassable for drivers. The westbound lanes were eventually blocked too. Officials said several cars were stranded and crews rescued several people, including a family of 5 from one car. Paramedics checked the family for exposure to the cold water. Around 8 last night, the St. Louis Water Division arrived to begin repairs after finding out the location of the break. A boil order has not been issued at this time, and the interstate was reopened around 1 this morning. Up next, a look at headlines from across the globe. German health authorities put a Berlin hospital under quarantine after 20 patients and staff members were tested positive with a more infectious variant of the coronavirus discovered in Britain and spreading fast around the world, officials said yesterday. The number of people at the Humboldt Hospital infected with the more infectious B117 variant of the virus was likely to rise further in the coming days, a spokeswoman of the public operator Vivantes told Reuters. Now, the quarantine decision means that the Humboldt Hospital in the German capital won't admit any new patients. Rioting youths protesting on the first night of a Dutch curfew torched a coronavirus testing facility and threw fireworks at police in the Dutch fishing village of Urk, 50 miles northeast of Amsterdam. On Sunday, all that remained of the portable building used to administer coronavirus tests was a burned-out shell. Police said on Sunday that nationwide they fined more than 3,600 people for breaching the curfew and arrested 25 people nationwide for breaching the curfew or for violence. Police in Amsterdam were also bracing for another protest today, sending officers to a square where demonstrators clashed with police a week ago. And a British museum, which doubled as the set for the hit TV series Peaky Blinders, will reopen its doors tomorrow as a mass COVID-19 vaccination center. The Vaccine Center at Dudley's Black Country Living Museum, which offers or shows visitors what life was like in the early 20th century, aims to administer up to 1,000 jabs a day. And Iraqi security forces implemented strict security measures in Baghdad following twin suicide bombings that rocked the capital, killing at least 32 people and wounding dozens more. The Iraqi government has deployed security forces on the streets, main squares, and markets of Baghdad, in addition to vehicle checkpoints on the roads. Iraqi Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kadhimi headed a special session of the Ministerial Council for National Security on Friday and ordered a number of changes in security and military structures amid concerns over the security breach that enabled the attackers to strike. Thursday's attack at a busy market in Baghdad was the first mass casualty blast in years, harkening back to darker days of rampant militant atrocities. We have a final check of that forecast right after this. Nick Kelly joining us with a final check of that forecast. Busy week ahead, Nick.
And it starts off with rain and thunderstorm chances, believe it or not, kicking off tonight and continuing into tomorrow. Highs are 53. We'll get a quiet Tuesday before we see snow chances back in on Wednesday. If anybody missed the forecast, Chris, they can catch it on the blog at KOAMNewsNow.com.
All right, Nick, thank you so much. And thank you all so much for joining us. That's our time for now. Our next news time is going to be 5 a.m. with Tanya Bach and Michael Hayslip. So make sure you're up bright and early, and we'll see you then. Good night.